Good morning, dear friends. Dear friends of a particular kind. Dharma friends. It's the 25th of January, 2021. 50 years ago today, in a village in North India, about 9 kilometers south of Gaya, one of the poorest cities in India at that time, probably still. The village is Bodh Gaya. It's where the Buddha woke up. 50 years ago today, I had an experience on my first retreat in which the neurotic mind just went quiet, really for the first time ever. It didn't last, but it put the hook went in. And at the end of that retreat, I told my girlfriend, this is what I want to do with my life. I had no idea what that meant. Nor did I know how to make anything really happen. But here it is, 50 years later. It's a lot of times coming back to the breath. And it's living proof that it works. That personal transformation is slow, but the effects are really monumental. So I'm really grateful to the Buddha and to all my teachers, particularly Ruth Denison, and to you for practicing with me as we're on this journey together. So I received this poem. It's a poem by Pat Schneider. It came from Margaret in our group here. It's called The Patience of Ordinary Things. She was reminded of this with the poem Aimless Love that I read a few days ago. So this is really quite sweet. It's a kind of love, is it not? How the cup holds the tea, how the chair stands sturdy and foursquare, how the floor receives the bottom of shoes or toes, how soles of feet know where they're supposed to be. I've been thinking about the patience of ordinary things, how clothes wait respectfully in closets, and soap dries quietly in the dish, and towels drink the wet from the skin of the back, and the lovely repetition of stairs, and what is more generous than a window? It is a kind of love, is it not? How the cup holds the tea, how the chair stands sturdy and foursquare, how the floor receives the bottoms of shoes or toes, how soles of feet know where they're supposed to be. I've been thinking about the patience of ordinary things, how clothes wait respectfully in closets, and soap dries quietly in the dish, and towels drink the wet from the skin of the back, and the lovely repetition of stairs. And what is more generous than a window? Somehow that reminds me of I think I want to use my drum for this. the simplicity in the Buddha's teaching. A king was on his way to war. And there was war at the time of the Buddha, plenty of it. He was a refugee fleeing, actually, at the time of his death. That's an interesting thought, isn't it? The Buddha was a refugee when he died. He had been staying in the forest of King Bimbisara for more than 20 years. Bimbisara's son killed the king, took over the throne, and the Buddha was on the road when he died. But this other story, this king on his way to war earlier in the Buddha's life, the king parked his army. He heard there was a great wise one in the forest. Parked his army and said, "Men, don't get too comfortable. The battle is tomorrow." He went and sat at the feet of the Buddha. Did the proper respectful statements and then said, "Lord Buddha, I really need to hear your teachings, but I don't have much time. Could you please tell me them in their most succinct form?" The Buddha looked at the king with great compassion. He sat for a little while or a long while, long enough that the king was really paying attention. And then he said, "Here, king, listen, I will speak." And then he said, "Try to live in the present moment." This was sufficient for the king. He was on the brink. It pushed him over the edge, and he realized the truth of that everything is impermanent. Everything is prone to suffering, and that the self is a fiction. He thanked the Buddha. He went back to his men and said, "My brothers, go home. I'm canceling the war. Go home to your families, to your fields, to your shops, and try to live in the present moment." Try to live in the present moment. And a ritual of remembering the refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. I encourage you to sing along with me. I remember I did a 10-day retreat with Achan Sumedho decades ago now. We did a lot of chanting. There were chant books. There wasn't a verse to chanting, but it seemed to me like a waste of time. Had some pretty narrow views, of course. But he suggested, try it. You might like it. See where we harmonize together. And the meanings of Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, of course, are profound. I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and love. Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community of mindful harmony. Namo Sangaya, Namo Sangaya, Namo Sangaya. It's a long time ago now, decades. A friend of mine lived in Thailand in the Peace Corps, in the villages. And he said that in the morning, in the dark, before school, he would be in the village and he could hear the families chanting together. Parents, children. Imagine that. Hey kids, let's get up and chant the Refuges and the Loving Kindness Sutra together. Let's do it every morning. Oh, Dad, I don't want to put down my phone. Jeez. So here we are. Following an ancient path. Being an ancient path. We are that path. Ajahn Chah said you don't need books. The Eightfold Path is 2 eyes, 2 ears, a nose, a tongue, a feeling body, and the mind that walks it. So let us please become aware of the contact of the body with the chair. And perhaps this morning we could make a determination. I'm actually going to sit still. I'm going to let the body rest where it's parked. And I'm going to become even more curious about the mind. Using the sensations of breathing as an anchor, as home base. I intend to observe the truth of birth, lifetime, and then death, passing away. Each breath has a beginning. Can you be present at that beginning? Each breath has its journey of rising to fullness. Its transition from breathing in to breathing out. Its decline and then its vanishing. Of course, it's likely that the mind produces images, memories, plans, desires, dislikings, worry and restlessness, sloth and torpor, doubt. Some dominant mood. The journey and the path leads us to observing the arising of all these things. And moment by moment, setting ourselves free from clinging to them. Come home. Come home to yourself from the clouds of delusion. And we practice with an intention of love and compassion. It's a gentleness, a warmth. If we consciously or unconsciously set ourselves a goal of getting rid of the thoughts, or even just the painful thoughts, we are at war. Much more skillful and functional is, I aspire to love and accept myself exactly as I am in this moment. And when I discover that I'm hurting, that I'm suffering, that I'm in physical pain or emotional pain, or just the existential pain of being, I aspire to hold myself in sweet compassion. It's kind of strange how we punish ourselves for experiencing pain or suffering. And so, one breath at a time, one moment at a time, let us abide in rising, rising, falling, falling of the chest and abdomen. Consciousness meets the world. Through the eyes, the ears, the nose, the tongue, the feeling body, and the mind. There are visual objects and auditory objects and so on. Thoughts, memories, plans are all mind objects. Are they real? Yes, in a temporary sort of way. Observing the arising and vanishing of mind objects. Noticing sounds that appear. There's no predicting, but suddenly they're here. And equally suddenly they're gone. There is a certain repetition, one breath after another. Yet each breath is different. Sometimes a breath is short or long or smooth or choppy. Every now and then there's a deep breath. Become curious. Cultivate the mental factor of curiosity. Notice how the mind is in a certain way like a pendulum. It swings into trance states, fantasies, memories, illusions, delusions, beliefs, old stories. Stories of anger, of sadness, of fear. Stories of self-righteousness. And then there's awakening. Oh, wandering mind. Memories from the past. Self-criticism. And in that awakening, the awakeness is just that. It really has no characteristics other than receptivity. And the training regimen is so simple. Be awake. Try to live in the present moment. One breath at a time, one thought at a time, one body sensation at a time. Please let us turn inside to that place in us that knows what we really long for. That longing for peace, for being loved and loving. It longs for compassion, to be seen when we hurt, to be comforted, to be understood. And this is the same for every other human being. No matter what their politics, no matter what their language or religion, it's the human condition. So soon we will end this time of inward reflection, meditation. Let's create an intention to carry with us today all day, with every encounter, a wish for the well-being of the persons we encounter. Of course, this means that our intention is to meet them in love and compassion, guided by the 5 precepts. I undertake the training of the heart to refrain from killing other beings to the best of my ability. I aspire to be kind and of service to all beings. I undertake the training of the heart to refrain from taking that which is not freely given. I aspire to become generous beyond my wildest imagining. I undertake the training of the heart to refrain from sexual acts which cause harm. I aspire to use the great energies of creativity to bring love and beauty into the world. I undertake the training of the heart to refrain from speech which causes harm, gossip, slander, passing on uncertain or untrue information, idle chatter. I intend to use speech to bring connection and peace and harmony into the world. I aspire, I intend, I take the rule of training to refrain from the use of substances and activities that dull and blur the mind. I aspire to cultivate mindfulness, curiosity, persistence, joy, patience. And so it is that we have our practice to take with us. As we notice the body that sits here and touches the chair. Alive, remarkably alive. As we notice the life of the face and the eyes, being aware of the intention to open the eyes, so the transition from sitting formal meditation to the activities of daily life is done very consciously. Transitions are very significant. So the eyes find their way to open, and then on the way there's a whole new world of experience. Seeing. Well, I'd rather be this mental state than the one that was here at the beginning. Isn't it remarkable how a few minutes of doing this is transformative? Well, I have all the usual announcements. Please remember your practice of generosity and supporting PIMC, maybe a monthly contribution. Doyle Banks is teaching a weekend retreat early in February. Not a weekend, a one day, 9 to 2. I'm offering a weekend in late February. You can find that on the website under retreats. And every night of the week, with the exception of Friday and Saturday, someone's teaching at PIMC. So, I just remembered the comment of the narcissist. Well, enough about me. What do you think of me? So, what do you think about you? What's happening in your life? Do you have a question, something to celebrate you can share with the group? Or has the dukkha beast caught you recently in some significant way? So please just unmute and speak if you wish to. And I think my sound is working. We'll see.
Robert.
Hello, Janine.
Hello. Just a quick reminder to people too that this is our week on Wednesday for Meta for Black Lives from 6 to 7.